Hey there, YouTubers, viewers, subscribers, and non-subscribers. RoseRed17 here, and welcome to my channel. This is the review video of Rave Master-Volume-3, chapters 14 to 21. It begins where the last volume left off, which is the fight between Haru and Lance, and it seems like Lance has the upper hand. But then Haru finds a way to counteract his attack. The fight continues on until Haru got stabbed and then blurted out the truth about Musica's family being slaughtered as Lance doesn't deny it. Young Musica heard what he said about his family, and then Haru goes into a rampage, swinging his sword around like a madman until Plu stopped him. Plu is trying to reason with Haru as Musica is the one to tell him to cool it, making him realize that is what Plu was trying to tell him. Haru got the message, but Lance grabbed Plu and chucked him into the air ready to be eaten by the dogs, but managed to get saved after getting his nose stuck into the ceiling, and then the illusion disappeared right before it took a bite. That is when Haru discovered the weakness of his Shadow Stone, or he thought he did, because when he was about to attack all at once, he plans on using the smoke as a cover, that way Lance won't see him going in for the attack. But Lance corrected him, saying that they don't attack by sight, they attack by scent. And just when Haru was about to be attacked again, the old Musica came and grabbed onto Lance and told Haru to attack Lance while he's got a hold of him. But Haru refuses to do so unless he gets out of the way. But Musica told Haru to cut through him if he has to in order to defeat Lance. Haru charges at both of them, but instead of cutting through Musica, he jumps on his back like a stepping stool and slashes Lance's sword, destroying the Shadow Stone. Even though the Shadow Stone is destroyed, Haru still believes that the fight is not over and challenges Lance to a sword-to-sword fight. But Lance surrenders as he is powerless without his Shadow Stone, and begged Haru for mercy, which he does, and lets Musica take a hit at him. Haru then falls to the ground from exhaustion as Ellie starts to help him walk. But Lance came up from behind and ready to slash them both, but Haru slashes him back, leaving a fatal wound, and Musica once again told Haru to finish him off. But of course he said no, and then he said he's going to destroy his sword, which he does use an explosion, but causes devastating injury on his body, which caused him to fall to the ground once again. Now with Lance out of the way and Haru on the ground unconscious, the crew from Lance's party decide to attack him to get the promotion of leadership. But young Musica attacked the men and start to take him out all at once. But then there was a banging on the door revealing to be the army police force, and Musica said they have to leave and not get caught because young Musica is a leader of a band of thieves. The old Musica is a big drunk. Ellie and Haru are people that they might find suspicious, so they all make a run for it. The police finally made it in and they see Lance on the ground, severely wounded. Meanwhile, the old Musica patched up Haru, but then he said he's not out of the woods yet. But then Plu puts a piece of candy in Haru's mouth, which gives the old Musica the idea of mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Ellie volunteers to do so, but right before her lips touches his, Haru wakes up. Okay, I know Ellie was embarrassed, but did she really have to hit him like that when he has no idea what's going on? Haru was asked if he was okay, and the response was a growling stomach. Later on, they celebrated with some food and drinks. Then after everybody passes out, young Musica decided to take his leave, but then stopped by Haru. Haru wants Musica to admit that he and the old blacksmith are related and should get to know each other. But Musica doesn't want to get to know the old man since he's always been alone all his life. Plus, he doesn't want the old blacksmith to carry a new burden if he ever tells him that he's his grandson. The two continue with the argument until the old man came along and he said he heard everything. Haru wants the two of them to consider the possibility of these two be related. But to prove that, the blacksmith asked Musica to show him the tattoo on his right arm, the tattoo that he has on his hand. Young Musica shows him his arm with no tattoo, which proves that the two are not related. Or at least that's what they want us to think. Because you see later on, Musica knew the old man was lying and that he shows us the tattoo on his left arm. The old man confessed to Haru that the young man is his grandson, but he doesn't want to hold him back on what he wants to do and just happy that he's alive. Haru and Ellie are leaving to find the other Rave stones, but but the problem is they're not sure where to look. So the blacksmith gave them a little bit of information about the place where the star fell, and the two of them are off on their next journey. They continue on their journey onto the next chapter when they realize they don't know which way they're going. So the little blue blob known as Griff navigated their way to a town known as Skia Village. But they decided to take a little break, and Ellie looked at the sword and seemed to be familiar with the Rave stone she's staring at. And Haru was a little surprised at what she said. But Ellie saw him looking at her, staring at him, thinking that she's crazy. They get into a little fight as Ellie decided to go to the hot spring with Blue, but then was curious about his nose and wants to know what will happen if she twisted it. This caused Haru and Ellie to fight again as Ellie stormed out of the hot spring and dared Haru not to take a peek. But by the look on his face, he was not going to do that until you see him and Griff looking out for Ellie. He heard her scream, run towards her, and then sees a deflated Blue on the ground. We get some funny slapsticks onto how to try to fix him. They try pumping him up, twisting his nose again, burying him in the dirt. What? And the two are arguing once again on what to do. Haru just about had enough of this as he set up the tent and went to bed. Ellie feels guilty for Blue and then decided to take him back to a vet back in Punk City. She decided to walk there but then gets attacked by a monster, and Haru shows up threatening to kill the beast and scares it off. Haru noticed her feet were all scratched up and bruised. Yeah, I forgot to mention, she decided to go barefooted. I don't know why. Ellie apologizes for what she did to Blue, and Haru apologizes to Ellie for guilt tripping her, and then the two decide to go together. But then once Ellie turned around to see Blue is back to normal. They're not exactly sure why, but it is discovered later that Blue defeated due to bathing in the hot spring for too long. Now to the next chapter, we see the two continue their travels until they run across a storm as Griff merged his body into making a roof above them. They notice the storm is coming down pretty hard, and the lightning almost struck them. Haru noticed that Ellie seemed to be terrified of the lightning, and her expression shows that not only that she's scared of the storm, but she looks petrified. Haru tries to help her and find their way to Skia Village to find a place to stay, and manage to find a hotel where they can rest for the night until the rain lights up. A woman known as Lasagna, and I'm not kidding, that's her actual name. It says it right there on the page. Anyways, Lasagna takes them into the room and gives them some towels to dry off. Lasagna asks them about Ellie and why she's like that. Haru told her that it might have been the storm and that it scared her. She also asks him how long they're gonna stay, as Haru replies back saying until the storm lights up. But then Lasagna told him that it might be a while and then walks away. Meanwhile, Haru decided to check out the town, in the rain nonetheless, until he runs into a small boy. Haru introduced himself and Blue to him, but the boy doesn't seem to care as he noticed that he's not from around here. The boy told him to get lost as he's trying to destroy the demon, which is this frog apparently. The little boy tries to kill the frog, but Haru stops him. This got the boy upset with Haru and runs off. Then an old man shows up telling a story about the little boy and that he's never seen the blue sky. He also told Haru to leave the village as he walks away. We learn later discover that the boy's name is Chio and that he is the son of Lasagna. Chino wants to put the blame on Haru for getting his clothes dirty, but his mother doesn't want to deal with it at the moment and told him to go to his room. She also told a shocking discovery about the town, and it has been raining for 5 years, and that is the work of the Man of Thunder, who suddenly showed up at their town, causes the non-stop raining and thunder. Then we see Ellie approach, saying that she finally found him, and runs off into the storm with Haru chasing after her. Well, isn't that suspicious? I didn't realize that Ellie was looking for this guy. They continue running into the storm as Ellie sprinted faster while Haru's having a hard time keeping up. And then we get some intel into Ellie's backstory, showing us the time when she suddenly woke up one day in the middle of nowhere with her amnesia. She called out for help but then started to get a splitting headache as this man showed up. Yeah, I know a lot of you are probably familiar with this character design from Fairy Tail. Ellie asked the man if he knew her, but instead of giving her an answer, he gives her a lightning bolt and walks away. Ellie somehow survived that and then noticed the words on her arm spelling out E-L-I-E. So now we know how she got the name Ellie, and we'll find out more about those words later on in the story. The flashback ended as Ellie continues to run into the rain towards her target, as Haru lost sight of her, and then the little boy shows up with Haru's sword in his hand. They start to have a little conversation about Ellie having connections to the demon cards, and then realize that the Thunderman is one of the members. Haru promised the little boy that he's going to see the blue sky, and then wanders off to take care of the Thunderman. Ellie managed to find a place ready to meet the Thunderman, thus ending the chapter and ending the volume. Not a bad chapter in my opinion. Plus, we get to see a little bit more information about Ellie's backstory, and the man who looks like Jalal from Fairy Tail wants to kill her for some reason, but we will get to know why later on in the series. We also discover that the two musicas are related to each other as grandfather and grandson, which is something that's not too surprising because since they already have the same name, why not be related? With all that said and done, I'm going to end the video here. Well then everyone, thank you so much for watching, and if you are new here, you can subscribe to this channel and you can also hit that notification button for more updates on my newest videos. And don't forget, you can check me out on Twitter, TikTok, and Discord, and I'll see you all in the next video. RoseRed17 out.